Katsina State Governor Diko Rada has flagged off the disbursement of the third cluster of girls' scholarship to 49,370 mothers and caregivers across the state. This intervention is driven by the federal government under the World Bank-assisted project. Abdulatif Yusuf has more.
These foundation-laying exercises performed by the state governor to set the pace for the construction of 15 new secondary schools out of the 75 proposed junior and senior secondary schools in the state. Before now, the state had suffered a great setback in the number of students that transit to secondary schools due to factors such as distance, lack of hygienic facilities in schools, and inability of the parents to finance their children to school. This narrative is what the World Bank and a few selected states in Nigeria are working tirelessly to change through various components of the Agile project.
We are trying to bring schools closer to the community so that it will ease their suffering, it will ease the transportation problems to the community, and opportunity will be given to each and every student to be able to have quality education close to his home. 100 million naira that were given to 15 schools across the state is to enable the schools through their community association to do all the necessary things the school require, including furniture, repair of certain infrastructure in the school.
Already, some schools have enjoyed school improvement grants and many other incentives that have drawn students back to the school. The proposed schools, when completed, will house over 100,000 students, thereby decongesting old schools and improving even more enrollment across the state.
The target by the project is to construct 150 secondary schools in the state, 90 JSS and 60 SSS. And the idea is to ensure that schools are closer to communities. The national policy on education provides for maximum distance a child should travel or trek before reaching a school. So particularly this school is going to serve more than 19 to 20 communities who all have primary schools, but their children treks more than, some of them 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers to schools. So the school will provide ease access.
The disbursement of mega grants of 100 million naira each to some selected schools is another motivation that will see a lot of schools becoming even more developed. The community representatives are here to witness the groundbreaking steps that will reshape the future of their children, who will now have no excuse to refuse schooling. Katsina State in the last few decades has been rated among the states with the highest number of out-of-school children, a narrative the new government of the state is now working to address. Abdulatif Yusuf, TVC News, Katsina.
Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has promised to create windows of job opportunities for youth in the country through the ministry. Speaking at a reception organized in Kano at his hometown, Iragbiji, the minister appealed to Nigerians to give the present administration a chance in bringing the needed development in the country. Rafiu Hamid reports.
It was received by members of the All Progressives Congress on his arrival in Osun on Thursday last week. This is another reception organized in his honor by indigenes of his hometown, Iragbiji, to celebrate him on his appointment as the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. His father, Alhaji Ahmed Oyetola, wife, Kafayat Oyetola, friends, political associates and supporters attended the event. The Iragbiji of Iragbiji says the event is to appreciate the minister for his achievements while in office as governor of the state.
Payment of salaries and pensions as at and when due while without each. He also put in place monthly allowance for the aged and supported traditional rulers in the state in what has become a novel and sustainable policy.
His colleague, Obab Rashid Akabi, solicits support of Nigerians for the president, Bola Tinubu.
So I want you to know that his government will be the best ever. No Nigerian president will achieve what he will achieve. we have seen the signs. We have started well. That subsidy has to be gone, it has to go. And it has gone, will never come back again.
The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy thanked the organizers of the event for the honor.
The fact that we are politics does not mean we are enemies. I think it's a good example for other communities to emulate. I understand that every son and daughter of Ghana contributed to the family of inception. But not today.
Oba Rashid Olabumi had earlier named the road linking the town to Osogbo after the minister. Rafi Hamid, TVC News, Iragbiji, Osun State.
Moving on to Kano State, the government has approved the release of 4.8 billion naira for the execution of various projects in the state. The State Commissioner for Information disclosed this while briefing journalists on the outcome of the 5th State Executive Council meeting. Ibrahim Isa reports.
The Kano State Executive Council, headed by Governor Abba Yusuf, has held its 5th meeting. Members of the State Executive Council were present at the meeting. Briefing newsmen on the outcome of the meeting, the State Commissioner for Information, Halilu NTA, disclosed that more than 4 billion naira was earmarked for various projects and programs in the state. A total of 3.5 billion naira was approved for the sponsorship of 550 students qualified for postgraduate students abroad.
Some decisions were taken by the District Council, and the approval was granted on several issues tabled in line with the administration's policies and programs geared towards human and infrastructure development of our dear state. The Minister of Higher Education requested for the sponsorship of 550 students, qualified state engineers for postgraduate studies program, and they made a request which was approved by Council of 3,577,288,540 naira.
Halilu Ente added that the sum of 79 million naira was also approved by the council to facilitate the renovation of 11 closed boarding schools in the state, while 131.5 million naira was approved for the conduct of the 2023 internal examinations. The commissioner revealed that hundreds of millions of naira have been approved for the Ministry of Works and Housing, which include 172 million naira for the settlement of outstanding liabilities for the completion of the state liaison office in Abuja.
Also, the Minister of Works and Housing made a request for funds for the provision of furniture and public procurement bureau office complex in the sum of 93,306,585 and 557 naira. 19 kobo was approved by council.
Governor Abba Yusuf has also sworn in 45 special advisors in the state. The swearing-in took place at the government house. The governor appealed to them to be prudent in discharging their primary assignments. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
To security matters, Acting Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has condemned the gruesome murder of SP Bako Bashim, who was, at the time of his death, the Divisional Police Officer, Wada Division in Rivers State. The DPO was humiliated, gruesomely murdered and mutilated by some armed criminals in Rivers State on Friday, 8 September 2023, while on operation in the area. The IGP, while emphasizing unequivocally that such nefarious acts against any operative in Nigeria will not be taken with levity, as all the perpetrators will be cast to face the full wrath of the law, extended his deepest condolences to the grieving family, dedicated colleagues and friends, asking them to embody his dedication, humility and selflessness. The IGP ordered immediate investigation, arrest and prosecution of all the culprits involved, adding that it was a reflection of a lack of patriotism. In a bid to combat rising drug abuse among young individuals, the youth wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Niger State organized a one-day sensitization lecture. The initiative aims to address the present concerns of drug abuse and its dire consequences on the future generation. Chanami Baimai reports.
Drug abuse among young people has reached alarming proportions, not only in Niger State but across the nation. Young people are particularly vulnerable as they stand at the crossroads of their futures. These young people from various backgrounds are gathered here in Mina for a workshop on drug abuse. Their shared goal is to address the menace of drug abuse head-on.
Promises of remedies to his anxieties. How they told him that they have remedies that they could give him, that what he would be bold enough to face his fears.
The theme of the lecture is drug abuse and restiveness, a loss for the future generation. The event brought together concerned stakeholders, religious leaders and the youth to raise awareness about this critical issue.
If you look at Mina today, you see he has given the security officials, the security agencies, marching order to enter any house that they identify any boy or any child who is on drug and is causing confusion, they should arrest him.
The Bible said, any child that is left to his or her will make her mother to cry. And as a mother, drug abuse is of a much concern to me and to all women.
They encourage the youth, provide opportunity for them to have job, provide opportunity to them to not see themselves as nobody. That makes the youth go into these drugs. By the time you engage the youth and give them a proper orientation and talk to them how the hazard of these drugs they do take, they will understand, and I believe that to make an impact in their life.
On the pulpit, we need to encourage our youths to stand against the use of drugs and illicit substances, and also the government and her policies, the officials, government officials should put in place policies that will serve as a deterrent to those who go into drug abuse, and should also ensure that they do not provide the drugs, especially during electioneering periods.
Beyond the four walls of the meeting room, this initiative is part of a wider movement in the battle against drug and substance abuse in Niger State. Chanemi Bami, TVC News, Mina.
And outside Nigeria, in Morocco, the death toll from a powerful earthquake has risen to more than 2,000, with a similar number of injured. The Interior Ministry says more than 1,400 people have serious injuries, and the heaviest casualties are in provinces just south of Marrakesh. Fearing aftershocks, many Moroccans have opted to stay outdoors for a second night, sleeping on the streets. The epicenter was in the high Atlas Mountains, as there are reports of entire villages flattened in remote areas, though information continues to emerge. The magnitude 6.8 quake hit Marrakesh and many towns on Friday night. In remote mountain areas, entire villages are reported to have been flattened. There are far fewer deaths in Marrakesh, though the UNESCO-protected old city has suffered considerable damage. In sports, the final qualifying tournament for the National Chess Championship has gone past the halfway mark. And the trial of 12-year-old Goodness Ekunke of Bayelsa State, Rotimi Lakpite and Kennedy Onokpite lead the midway into the 9-round tournament. Solomon Ajaziogo reports.
At the halfway mark of high-octane, mind-sapping round of games, the trial of 12-year-old Goodness Ekunke, Rotimi Lakpite and Kennedy Onokpite have shot into the lead at the National Chess Championship qualifiers in Lagos. Goodness is one of the youngsters tackling seniors on the chessboard for one of the 4 slots to the national finals next month.
Feel happy, but I still have 4 more games to go. Anything can happen.
The main format is we get the top 5 players, which is a deviant from the previous, modus operandi. So now we've extended the number from 10 to 12. So in fact, the energy is even more intense compared to what we were expecting to see, because these guys are fighting to be in the final list for the selection. That's why you have this very intense environment.
Following the three leaders are Biola Akinseye and Ferdinand Nyuma, as the 16 players continue their battle of 9 rounds up to Sunday. Solomon Ajiziogu, TVC News, Lagos.